Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I have been going back and forth with myself for the longest time on even making a video on this. With it being so complex and with so many opinions, I have just found myself to be very overwhelmed when trying to talk about it. But with the especially recent roller coaster of events that have gone down, I find it very interesting and I want to share my thoughts. So if you're interested in watching me unscramble my chaotic mind and organizing all of my thoughts, please stick around and watch this video. So I want to start by saying the media has painted so many different pictures of this story for us, leading us to have so many different opinions and even conspiracy theories to be formed. It's been really hard to just even keep up. Some people believe Gypsy is purely a victim, and some people believe she is some mastermind manipulator or both. With all of that being said, nobody will ever know the 100% true story ever, period. Now, I am not going to sit here and pick apart and tell the whole story. There are plenty of great channels out there that do this. They tell the whole story and also share their opinions, and I love those channels, but I'm not going to do that. This is not a long form video. This is just a short video where I just want to share my thoughts. So now, we know the part where Dee Dee Blanchard suffered from Munchausen by proxy syndrome, which I'm going to mention that term is technically not the correct term, I learned. That is more explaining the behavior of the actual psychiatric syndrome called factitious disorder imposed on another. We know Gypsy was abused. We know she was isolated and kept from having that normal childhood and upbringing. We know all of this. But now going back to the media and how they sort of painted the picture, I feel like my original knowledge of this whole case came from the show The Act. That's when I was sort of introduced to this whole story, and it was so shocking. But I feel like that show made it seem like Gypsy had no other way out, and she was just this innocent little girl, and it just made you feel nothing but bad for Gypsy. But then looking at the bigger picture, I realized, wait, she was using a computer, she was using a phone. She had knowledge of all of these things. She also knew that she could stand. There were neighbors, there were other people around that she could have talked to or told the truth to, or at least what she knew or what she thought. But that just didn't happen. So, knowing all this, thinking about it, I feel like maybe doing something as severe and permanent as unaliving her mom was not her only way out. I think I would like to think that she had other options. That's just my opinion, and I'm just putting that out there. Then again, in the same vein, being in her situation, enduring that sort of abuse for that amount of time, it's hard to say what exactly was going through her mind. Abuse is very real, and being brainwashed is very real, and I am not oblivious to that. Anyway, moving on. So when I think about it, when I sit back and actually think about it, I hadn't really thought about Gypsy Rose Blanchard since seeing that show. Maybe a little bit, but very few and far in between times have I actually sat there and said, oh, I wonder what Gypsy's up to. Up until previously, she was released from prison back in December of 2023, which was not that long ago. So we all saw her release from prison was extremely hyped up and sensationalized by the media once again. Gypsy became seemingly famous like overnight. Her social media grew by millions of followers, and it was just like the next day everybody was focused on Gypsy Rose Blanchard. You couldn't scroll through social media without seeing a picture of her, a video of her, or something about her. Although she had gained this huge platform and she was being followed by millions, I think people and even Gypsy forgot that those people weren't all only supporters. Some of them were just nosy Nellies, if you will, that wanted to see what was going to happen, her next move, and what she would do after being released and finding her new found freedom. Speaking of social media, do you know that the original status that Nick and Gypsy posted on Dee Dee's Facebook page is still up? The post that said that BITCH is dead, the one that alerted people to have a wellness check done at the Blanchard's home. It's still up on Facebook on what is supposed to be the memorial page for Dee Dee Blanchard. I think that they should take that down. I can't believe it's still up after all this time. I don't know what's going on with Facebook, but I think that they should definitely think about removing it. Anyway, the person who has been sort of lost in all of this is Nick Godejohn. In my opinion, Gypsy groomed Nick. They spoke for 2 years. And Gypsy knew that Nick would do anything for her, and I'm sure she made Nick feel like she would do anything for him. But that was not the case. As we've all seen, to Gypsy, Nick is just the ex-boyfriend. He's the one that actually committed the crime. He is the one that did the KILL, in her words.
I don't associate myself as a murderer because if you think about it, yes, I had a part to play in it. I asked Nick for help. And how that conversation started was, he was saying that he would protect me from anyone. I said anyone. He said yes. I said even my mother. He said yes. And then the plan kind of formed from there. But he's the one that did the actual kill, not me. I can't kill anyone. That's why he's in trouble to begin with, because he's the one that did it. So when they say I'm a murderer, I don't identify as that.
I'm just going to say this one time. I do not feel like Nick received a fair trial. And with Gypsy's huge platform, I feel like she could have advocated for him, but she didn't. So that really just says a lot about her personality and who she really cares about. And if she ever really cared about him. Now let's get back to Gypsy's release and her overnight celebrity influencer status. Gypsy went along with it. She's done the interviews. She's promoted all the products. She's been acting like the influencer and, in her own words, living her best life.
Living my best life, and y'all can't take that from me.
And the D is... all was fine and dandy, right? Until things just weren't going her way. Those people that weren't in support of her started asking the questions and wondering when she was going to start doing this advocacy work that she kept mentioning. With all of this happening, all of the attention, all of what she considered to be negative attention from people questioning her caused her to finally shut things down. Recently, she deleted her Instagram account and her Twitter account, and she made this video, which was later deleted, talking about accountability, which I'll share now.
I wanted to make a video talking about accountability and what that means to me. So when I seen the parole board in December of 2021, I went before a panel of like 3 people, and they asked me how I was doing in prison, what kinds of programs was I entered into, like participating in as far as like institutional classes and stuff like that. And they seen that I got my GED, and I worked for like 5 years to get my GED. Finally got it. The math was what I struggled with the most, but they were really proud of me for getting my GED. They asked me what was my feelings about my co-defendant, and how did I feel that he is doing life without parole, and in comparison to my sentence. And I was honest with them. I've always felt that I feel like more than one life was taken that night because of me, because of what I chose to do. They made it very clear that they felt like I needed to participate in a mental health program. So when they decided that they were going to release me at my mandatory minimum, which was 8.5 years, they put 2 stipulations on me. Mandatory therapy, which is going great so far, by the way. I see a therapist once a week. And no contact with my co-defendant. Absolutely no contact. And that's fine as well. So I get notified that I'm getting out in, December of 2023. And when that day finally came, I'm not going to lie, like, feeling freedom for the first time felt amazing. And everybody was so supportive at first. And it felt nice. I'm going to be honest, I got carried away in the hype of everything. I came out, I had to promote a documentary, I had to promote my ebook, and going to New York, yeah, it was nice and stuff, but it was so not my life. Does that make sense? Like, I didn't understand why people are so interested in my life. I don't get it at all. And I did some interviews, and I said some things that I feel confused a lot of people. One particular thing I said was on a podcast, and I said I didn't identify as the N-word, which we all know what the N-word is. And what I meant by that was not that I'm not branded the N-word. I know that I am, but it's not like I'm going to go to a job interview and be like, hi, my name is Gypsy Blanchard. I'm an N-word. You know, that's all I meant by it. I meant that my past does not define my future. My future is what I make it. And I know that I did something wrong in my crime. And that's something that I have to live with. That's my cross to bear. And everybody doesn't see me bear it to the surface every day. Because I am in therapy. I am working on myself. I'm working on my self-esteem. I can't crawl in a ball and shut my whole life down every single day of my life. No one sees like what my husband sees or what my family sees. I have days that I cry because I keep reliving it in my head. That's my cross to bear. And am I guilty of my crime? Yes, I am. But I don't feel like I can't be given a second chance to do better. I want to do better. There's lots of things that I feel like I can contribute to society if only given a chance. I feel bad for the things that I've done wrong in my life. I'm the type of person that I make a mistake and I learn from it, and I'm not perfect by any means. I'm just as human, just as flawed as the next person. Like I said, I've done things in the past that a lot of people know about. I've lied. And yeah, I mean, I do my best now. Now that I'm out in the free world, I do my best to try and just live my authentic life and what's real to me. And what's not real is social media. Like, social media is like literally a doorway to hell. Like, it's so crazy. I can't even wrap my head around what social media is. I thought that once I got out of prison, I come out and I'd enjoy social media like the next, person, taking selfies of myself in the mirror and just acting goofy and everything. It's the simple stuff in life, right? So a lot of people probably already noticed that I deleted my Instagram, my public one with it was 7.8 million followers when I deactivated it, or I deleted it, I permanently deleted it. And a lot of people are like, what happened? And what happened is I had a really good conversation with my dad, actually. And he gave me some guidance that I feel like I really needed. And that guidance was to just show me that, like, real life is something you could touch, something that you could feel, people that you could actually hug. And with the public scrutiny, as bad as it is, I just don't want to live my life under a microscope. And so I created my private Instagram, and I got it verified. And you know what? I had absolutely no trouble or like doubts of deleting that public one. And I have people that are like, oh my God, like, you're insane for deleting that kind of a following. And I'm like, I could give a F about a following. Like, that's not real life. To the supporters, thank you for the support. I appreciate it. I, appreciate all the people that have walked this journey with me. But at the end of the day, I'm going to have to walk away and start living a private life. And that takes steps, right? One step at a time. I still have my public TikTok, for now. Contemplating deleting it in a couple months. I don't know. I just probably might not post as much. But it's like, at some point after my new series airs and everything, I want things to calm down. Like, I want to go out to the grocery store and, buy a box of tampons and not have to take a selfie with someone. Not that that necessarily bothers me, but, I want people to wave at me because, like, they like me as a person, not because they think, oh my God, there's Gypsy. Oh my gosh, she's famous. Like, I don't see myself as famous, especially for what? Like, I did something bad. And, I mean, I'm trying to make myself a better person now, but I don't get it. That's not me. I'm not famous. I'm not anything. I'm just Gypsy. Just a normal Gypsy. To my family, to my dad, to my husband, all I am is just Gypsy. And they love me for being who I am. And that's why both on my private Facebook and my private Instagram has love for who I am as my bio. Okay, I got derailed in all this. But the point is that there's some key points that I want to make. Number one, to all the people that I offended with a lack of accountability the first month or so that I was out of prison, and the lack of accountability in my interviews, I'm sorry. I'm learning. I take accountability for my part, and I'm saying this right now. I'm taking accountability. I did a bad thing, but I've also been given a second chance at life. So please give me a little grace. Let my actions match my words, and we'll go from there. I definitely have a good support system, and I think I'm just now starting to get around to listening to my inner self instead of all the noise that's been on social media. So, with that being said, thank you so much for watching, hearing me out. I know I just kind of spilled a lot right now. But like I said, at this point, the whole point of this video is to make a public apology to anyone that felt offended by my lack of accountability first coming out of prison and all the interviews and stuff like that, because I do feel regret, but I'm trying to take steps forward, if that makes sense. So, thank you for watching. I hope I didn't ramble on for too long. It was like 12 minutes. All right, thank you. Bye.
While I am glad to see that she recognizes she may have done things the wrong way just coming out of prison and jumping right into everything, I don't feel like this video is 100% genuine. I still feel like there's more to come. I don't understand why she deleted this video if this was the truth. A conclusion I've drawn from this is that this whole thing is mind boggling to me. Like, there's so many different opinions, and I've just been like, my head's been spinning, and like, oh, that could be true, or oh, that, like, I hear different people talk, and I'm really trying not to let them sway my opinions, but it's really hard not to. But here is my conclusion and what I've come to believe in all of this. Looking back, Gypsy always wanted kind of like that fairy tale life, the boyfriend, the perfection. She has seemed to have always loved the attention. And I feel like she still does. Gypsy loves the fame and attention, but she doesn't want any negativity to come with it. And that just can't happen in this world that we live in. There's always going to be at least one person that is against you, no matter what. I personally think that Gypsy is both a victim, and I also believe that she is good at manipulating. From everything I've seen, all these little puzzle pieces kind of coming together, I can see how she could be a master manipulator. This being a learned behavior caused directly by her abuse and her upbringing. Feeding into social media was definitely not a good choice. She should have, as quietly as possible, been released from prison and worked on building her life. This was just not normal. Obviously, money is a huge motivator in today's world for anybody. I mean, she obviously wasn't broke because she had other things happening, but to keep getting that money, to keep getting that attention, that must have been a really big motivator for her. However, it wasn't the right choice. And at that point, I don't think that the money would be worth it. I mean, you step back and you can look at other stories and other criminals who have been released from prison. They don't come out and become influencers. Some of them can't even get a job. And that's a sad thing. So, how come this person became so famous overnight? It's because it's such a high profile case. But I can think of another case that was sort of local to me, the escape at Dannemora, where Joyce Mitchell helped those two prisoners escape from prison. She was also released from prison, but she didn't become a social media influencer. She's out there somewhere living a quiet, somewhat normal life, I'd assume. Obviously, that is a whole different case, a whole different storyline. They had totally different charges, but it's just kind of an example where not every high profile person that has been a part of a case has come out of prison becoming a millionaire overnight. It doesn't make any sense, and it's not what should be happening. It's just not normal. I don't believe Gypsy really wants that quiet, normal life like she mentioned or claims, but I guess we shall see. So please share your thoughts in the comments below. I look forward to reading them, and I hope to see you guys again very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.